Today we're going to look at a psychoanalysis reading of the transformation scene in the movie Vertigo. Alfred Hitchcock, who is the director of this movie, uses a visual style and a narrative structure to turn desire into a form of control. Through a psychoanalytic lens, the film it shows how Scotty does not love Madeline as a real person, but more of as a fantasy that he constructs and can try to possess. The transformation scene, it basically shows how the movie brings the viewers to participate in this feel of desire, control, and illusion, just like how Scotty does. So, the psychoanalytic film theory suggests that cinema can work like a dream or fantasy. According to Richard Allen, film has a strong connection to the irrational and unconscious, which allows viewers to experience hidden desires through images. Now, this experience is created through a subjective camera and point of view editing, where the audience can see through a character's eyes, in this case Scotty's eyes, as Hitchcock constantly aligns us with his gaze. We watch Judy, or in Scotty's eyes Madeline, the same way he watches her, in a mysterious and distant way. Now, this is similar to Hitchcock's movie Rear Window, where Jeff's voyeurism shapes how we see his neighbors. In both films, the camera turns looking into a form of desire and control. The viewers become involved in the act of watching. Now, before the actual transformation scene, Scotty forces Judy to change her appearance, like her hair and clothes, so she can look and become like Madeline. Now, this shows that he just falls in love with this illusion of Madeline rather than the actual person. And it shows that Madeline is not a real woman in his mind, but a constructed image. From the film experience book, this connects to mise-en-scene, which refers to everything placed in front of the camera, like the lighting, makeup, and costume. And here, Judy's transformation shows how identity is being visually constructed rather than naturally expressed. Now, this similar type of situation is also shown in the movie Black Swan, where Nina, through hallucination, physically alters herself to become the perfect black swan. In both of these films, the female identity is reshaped by pressure and desire, which shows that fantasy is projected onto the body. The transformation scene becomes the moment where fantasy fully replaces reality. For the transformation scene, when Judy comes from the bathroom, she is surrounded by this strange green light. This lighting is very unnatural and it makes her look like a ghost, which is like almost unreal. It visually signals that this is not a real person, but a fantasy image coming to life. Judy's reappearance in this green light creates a moment where she feels both familiar and strange, which makes the scene feel like a dream. This makes the scene also feel unsettling rather than romantic. The lighting here works psychologically, as instead of illuminating Judy, it expresses Scotty's mental state and desire. Scotty's gaze is central here, where the camera aligns us with his point of view and we see Judy as he sees her. Now, this shows the psychoanalytic theory where the image on the screen becomes a space for fantasy projection. A similar lighting effect also appears in the movie Mulholland Drive, where the dreamlike lighting and surreal visuals create this unstable sense of their identity. Like Judy, the women in this movie, which are Diane and Camilla, they become figures shaped by desire and fantasy rather than stable individuals. Scotty, in this movie, Vertigo, is not recognizing Judy's identity, he's replacing it with his own desire. After this transformation, Scotty goes and kisses Judy, and the camera begins to rotate around them. Now, this is an example of camera movement that creates meaning, which is a key idea from the film experience. This circular motion, it creates a sense of disorientation and this dizzy feeling, which reflects Scotty's psychological state of him being emotionally overwhelmed. The background, it goes from the hotel room to the horse stable where Madeline once was. Now, this editing choice, it blends the past and present, showing how memory and fantasy are merging. Now, this connects to continuity editing being disrupted, where the normal flow of reality is broken to represent a character's inner mind. Psychoanalytically, this shows how fantasy overrides reality, allowing unconscious desires to feel real. In this, Scotty is no longer interacting with Judy, but he is interacting with his own illusion of turning her into Madeline. The part from Scotty telling Judy to look like Madeline to Judy transforming into her shows how desire can become controlling and disruptive, as Scotty's need to recreate Madeline removes Judy's identity entirely and shows that he values his fantasy more. The idea of obsession becomes clear here, and it's where desire becomes repetitive and impossible to satisfy. According to the psychoanalytic theory, such fantasies come from unconscious desires that can't be fully resolved in reality. Instead of resolving desire, the film shows how it leads to obsession and repetition. Cinema can show this quite often, where images that feel real are actually illusions shaped by desires. So, in this movie, Vertigo, Alfred Hitchcock uses lighting, camera movement, mise-en-scene, and point of view to show how desire transforms reality into fantasy. Through a psychoanalytic lens, the transformation scene reveals that Scotty and the viewers like us are caught in this same process of projecting meaning onto images and mistaking illusion for truth. Lastly, this movie suggests that cinema is something that shapes how we see and imagine things in movies or even real life, and cinema is not just something we watch. Thank you guys for listening.